Hey, everybody, welcome to Mysterious Woods. This is Anne.
And Big Dog.
Big dog's in the house. Woof, woof.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm going to do that every time. You know that, right?
it's fine.
Maybe I can find a dog barking and I can just insert it. Woof, woof.
We can do that, or I can do my own. I can do a pretty good dog impression.
Let me
You
hear
want to
it.
hear it? Here it
Yeah.
goes. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay. That was pretty good.
it scared my chihuahua. She jumped right up.
And
Yeah.
I would introduce myself as my nickname, but no one knows me as that. Only you and Kenny do. So, Mad Dog. He's
Well,
K
maybe
Dog. You're Big Dog. I'm Mad Dog.
make it a thing. Make it a thing.
I don't know if that sounded mad.
I mean, I wouldn't want to get bit by that dog. It could have like I don't know gingivitis or something. I don't know, sick
Oh,
dog.
okay. Wow. Rabid Dog. So, what is that? My new nickname? Rabid Dog.
No, no, no. That we don't need that. We
No
don't need
doubt.
no crazy.
Well, I guess tonight, last time we talked about your experience and your Bigfoot experience, I should say, as this show covers many topics, and your experience in the woods with floating lights and orbs. So tonight we're going to talk about, the things that I've encountered Bigfoot wise. And I'm actually excited to tell you my story because it's really not out there. I've told friends, on a personal level, and I was on a show a long time ago on a podcast, and that podcast no longer exists, and all the shows were deleted. So my story was also deleted. So I'm a little sad about that.
Yeah, I know you keep it pretty close to you. You don't really share it that much. So
Yeah,
it's very special to come out on this.
it is. And I think the reason I don't share it a lot is because, I hear comments that people make and and when I tell you the story, I know Lord knows I know it sounds fantastical because there's been so many sightings on my road. So I live in I call it the city country, and we all have acreage, but our lots are long and narrow.
Hmm.
And so I have people on top of me, but we're in the country. And so I think the year was 2011. Now, mind you, I was into Bigfoot, but not like I am now. Um, I've seen Legend of Boggy Creek. That was probably the only movie I've ever seen concerning Bigfoot. I didn't have any experience with any kind of Bigfoot anything. I knew a little bit. I've, looked a little bit online. I didn't really know a whole lot. And
Right.
so my husband and we were putting up a fence in the front. And now behind us, my in laws used to live back there. We live on 8 acres and they live behind us. And so we were putting up the fence in the front and they were coming down the road, and I'm holding up one of the boards for Kenny, and here they come and I wave to them, and their driveway goes right down the side of our property. And so I was watching them, drive down the driveway, and something caught my eye towards the back. And
Oh,
there was something that ran from behind their house, and it was tall. I mean, God, it was really, really tall. It was all black from head to toe, but it was skinny.
hmm.
And that's what made me think, okay, what am I looking at? And my neighbor next door, she had just cleared the part of her back property because she wanted to make a farm. And she had all these little piles of trees that she just bulldozed over there. Well, this thing, when it ran, it was really fast and it jumped over one of these piles of trees and it cleared it.
Hmm.
That's when my mind was like, what the bleep was that?
Wow.
My mind was saying that was a Bigfoot, but I didn't want to believe it. No way. No way that that was a Bigfoot. No way. I've always told Kenny the day I found out that these things exist is the day that we're moving in the big middle of downtown Houston, and we're going to find the tallest building that I can find to live in.
Oh, wow. You know
Yeah,
that there's worse things living out in the middle of Houston.
that's true. At least I can see them, though. And
Well,
so,
sometimes.
huh?
I said sometimes if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's true. But I didn't, I told Kenny, I said, I went, oh my God. And he said, what? And I said, I just saw something. He said, what did you see? And I said, I don't know. I don't know what I just saw. I just saw something run from behind your mom and dad's house and it jumped over that clump of trees right there. And, he kind of brushes it off. I kind of brush it off. Maybe I'm hallucinating. I don't know. I don't do drugs. So I don't know. I don't know what it was. Okay. Maybe I'm just willful thinking. I don't know. So then he takes one of the boards. It's a little bit too long and he has to walk to the barn to cut it down. Well, he's walking across the yard and this board is just bouncing up and down and he's being, he's a goofball.
Yeah.
And he's being a goofball and I'm laughing at him. And then here it comes again. This time it runs towards the house. And I yell to Kenny, there it is, there it is. And he drops that board and he takes off running.
Towards it?
Yes,
Man, what is with these guys?
I know. I know. And so I'm yelling at him, what are you doing? And so I'm freaking out. But he runs to his mom and dad's house and he goes inside and he's like, someone's in your backyard. So he and his nephew go out there, look around, and they don't see anything. So, okay, maybe I'm the crazy person, right? So I remember we were in a drought and we weren't able to burn, but we were coming out of that drought. We had started getting a little bit of rain here and there, but we were still under a burn ban. And that day was a Sunday, was the first day that I saw it. The very next day, Monday night, we sat outside and we had this little fire pit because we were allowed to burn in the fire pit. We had this little fire pit and we're sitting outside. It's dark. Now, we lived in an RV at the time because we weren't sure if we were staying here to build a house or if we were moving somewhere else. And this RV was kind of catty cornered that we looked down towards the end of the street. And so we're sitting there and we're just talking and here comes somebody walking down the road. Now, it's pitch dark out here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our neighbor down the road had a security light on their gate. And we could see this head bobbing up and down in this light. And then next to me, my other neighbor, their driveway's pretty well lit. I mean, it's a yellow light, but you can still see if someone's there. Well, we saw someone go in between them and their neighbor. And we were yelling for their kid, Tony, because at the time he's like 6 feet tall.
Wow.
But I knew that light down the road was higher than 6 feet. That light is 8 feet up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're yelling, Tony, Tony, and it's not responding. So I'm like, what the hell? So guess what Kenny does? Takes off running. I'm thinking, this guy's crazy. So he takes off running. He knocks on the neighbor's door. They're all sitting there eating dinner, Tony included. And he said, hey, someone just went in between your house. So he went to the neighbor next to them. They're there. And he said, I just saw someone go down y'all's house, down the side. And so they take off looking. Now, I have on this street about 9 reports. And
Wow.
the other street next to me, as you know, you come in off the main road. This is all dead ends back here.
Right.
You cannot get out, and it's all heavily wooded towards the end of it. But the thing that amazes me is that, when I first saw it, I thought, what am I looking at? But then when you start going down the list of things that it could be, and you start crossing those things off, there's only one thing left that it could be.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm not as frightened as I thought I would be. Now I'm a little bit more interested. But here's the kicker. As time goes by, I started thinking, you know what? I must have not seen what I thought I saw. So now I've convinced myself that I didn't see anything.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, but here's where it gets a little hairy for me. So I'm trying to convince myself I didn't see anything. Well, 3 boys down the road. Well, they're not boys anymore. They're grown men now. The eldest one comes to me. This is before we had the house built, so you have a clear view of the trees. He sits down with me, and we have our back to the woods. We're looking towards the street, and he says, I have something I need to tell you. Okay. He said, I went to take the trash out last night, and there was a possum next to the garbage can. This possum was looking at something, and it wasn't me, and it looked like it was afraid. He said, so I looked thinking, okay, what's in my yard? Thinking maybe a predator. He turns to look at where the possum's looking, and he says, and there it was. And I said, and there what was? He said, there was something standing on 2 legs. It looked at me, and I looked at it, and it took off running towards the back of our property on 2 legs, and it jumped over our 6-foot fence like it was nothing.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And his dad, he told his dad, and his dad was like, oh, it was just a deer, son. He was like, Dad, it took off running on 2 legs. And here's the thing about it. He described it as all black and skinny. So now I'm going, no. This can't be.
See, there's that validation right there.
Validation. Well, it doesn't stop there. So, let's see. The road that goes, when you're coming into my place, you turn right. If you turn left, and you remember Beaver Creek and Hogwaller Bayou, where we used to go research. Okay, there's a lady that lives down that road. And she had these 2 dogs, you know them, Annie and Annabelle. And she called me and she said, I need help. Can you come get these 2 dogs? They're puppies. And I said, yeah. She's older, and they were scratching her up. She was bleeding all over her arms from these dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I went and got them. Well, occasionally she would call me. Now, mind you, we are not close friends. We are acquaintances, okay? She called me one day. I don't remember she wanted me to come get another dog. And so I did. My neighbor has that dog today. And she told me, I want you to know that things have changed down here, so you might not recognize it. So I was thinking, she has no idea that we're back there Bigfooting. She has no clue. Okay, well, that's cool. So I go down there and we start talking. Michelle was with me, actually. And she proceeds to tell me that she's sitting on her porch and smoking a cigarette. And out comes this thing from those woods walking down the street, and it disappears into the lot next to her. And I
Mm.
said, "Well, what did you see?" And she said, "It was about 8 foot tall. It was all black and it was skinny."
Wow.
So now there's even more validation. I still have more validating stories, but still I sometimes I just don't want to believe it. I think because it messes with your mind, you're not high on the food chain anymore,
Yeah.
you know? I
Right.
don't I don't think they know. Thank
I hope
God.
they don't know.
Yeah, but we do. So she has two encounters of that. The other one, it was coming out of that same lot, and it jumped over that gate that you and I used to go in
Hmm.
to get to that property. That's why we were out there all the time. So, when she described it, it just sent my little world, spiraling out of control. Well, when Michelle and Russell had their very first conference, I was on the local for sale pages advertising it. And this woman comes on and she just blurts out right there on Facebook that not her, her husband and her children went down to the lake. We're super close to Lake Houston. And they went down to the lake to see how far the lake had receded. As I said, we were in a drought. And that was in 2011. It was what, 2000, what year are we in? 2020. So
Hmm.
2018 was Michelle and Russell's first conference. And so she said that they went down there on their four wheelers and something stepped right out in front of them, and it was walking through the mud up to its knees like it was nothing. And this thing just didn't even really pay them any attention. And they said it was hairy, and it from head to toe, it was all black and it was skinny.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, do I get to name this monster? I mean, is Huffman Hairy Man too cliche?
The
You know what I'm
Huffman
saying?
monster.
The Huffman Hairy Man. Ooh. But I have the now I'm gonna go into a couple of other stories of things that people tell me. Um, let's see. So my neighbors on the other side. Now this may or may not be Bigfoot. It may be a person, we don't know. But here are the two stories. One, his wife was coming to pick him up. It's the people that live there, their son. His wife was coming to pick him up, and she got out of the car. Excuse me. She got out of the car and she saw someone crouched down next to one of the trucks. And she yelled and started honking the horn, and it left.
Hmm.
The other thing is, and I was witness to this one. Um, I could hear some hollering going on, and I went outside. I thought my neighbors were fighting, but it was this same guy, and he was yelling. And I'm thinking, who is he yelling at? And I could see him chasing someone down the road right in front of my house. And they disappeared into those woods, the woods across from me, that
Yeah.
little patch right there.
Hmm.
It's been cut down a lot since then, but it was complete woods. And whomever, whatever it was, went into those woods. So I was talking to him one day not too long ago. And the other story that he has is he told me that he could hear something out in the horses' barn. They have security cameras, but their security cameras don't record, they're live. And he went to the monitor and he said, I could make out two figures, and one was taller than the other. And this one smaller one was playing with this shelf that had fallen off on one end, and it was flicking it back and forth with its finger.
Hmm.
And he thought, there's people in there. So he went out there to, well, these people here, they don't give a shit who you are. If you're in their yard, they're going to come after you. Okay.
Hmm.
They're not scared of anybody. And so he was going out to approach these people, and they took off running. So with his 3 stories, mind you, I didn't see anything clearly when he was chasing something down the road, but it all adds up.
Yeah.
That's an easy food, the barn. They've got 2 horses. There's horse food. There's dog food. That's an easy meal.
Yep.
And so, I just thought, is this a coincidence, or is this Bigfoot related, or what? I mean, I've had several things happen out here. While I didn't see what it was, there's been things that have happened. When we had the house built, well, wait a minute. Let me go way, way back. When we
Way
had
back.
way back when I first moved here, mind you, I'm from Houston. Okay. I am a city girl. I'm a country girl now, but I'm a city girl. I grew up in the city. I grew up with my windows and my doors locked, and you didn't trust anybody. So when I first moved here, we had the RV next to his parents' house, and there we did not have any curtains on the windows, and that's unnerving. Okay. For a city girl, I need curtains on my windows. Okay.
Right. I mean, I would too.
I
I
don't
don't need
know
everybody.
what's looking at me. Yeah.
I don't need nobody checking me out. I got enough of
Exactly.
that.
And so I'm a little paranoid, I'm a little, upset about the whole thing. Well, I'm sitting at the table on my laptop. Kenny's on that little couch and he's asleep. And directly the RV starts shaking. And I don't mean a little bit, I mean a lot. And I'm thinking, what the hell? And I'm said, Kenny, get up. And Kenny's hard to wake up sometimes, most of the time. Kenny, get up, get up. And while he's trying to wake up, the RV's not really shaking anymore. It's just a little bit now. And now it's stopped. And I told him what's going on. And he's like, yeah, it's probably the wind. And I'm thinking, I don't think so. Because, you can hear the wind. When it's that heavy, you can hear the wind. So I'm like, whatever. So he goes back to sleep. And I'm just like, trying not to look out the windows because I'm scared to death I might see something I don't want to. And and I'm looking at my computer, but I can't help but kind of look to the side at this little tiny kitchen window next to me. I'm thinking, Jesus. And I look, and it's so dark out here, you don't see nothing. Well, there's this really long window behind me, and I just have the hair on the back of my neck just standing up. And
Ooh.
I'm thinking it's probably me. I'm just psyching myself out. I don't know. Well, this RV starts shaking again. Like, Kenny, get up, get up. This goes on 3 times. So the next day, we get out there and we try to shake the RV, and we weren't able to shake it. The 2 of us. Like the way it was shaken the night before.
Wow.
Well, later on that night, it's dark. We're both awake. And we hear some weird noise out at the other end where the bedroom is. And once again, no curtains. And I'm new to the country, so I don't know what it is.
Right.
And Kenny thought that maybe there were deer rutting. And I'm like, okay, maybe. I don't know. So he wants to go out there, and I'm yelling, "You better be careful! Those deer are gonna kill you!" Ah! You know. And he goes out there. There's no deer, and so he's peeing and he's facing the woods. And he comes running back into the RV. He slams the door shut and he's like, "Lock the door, lock the door." I'm all freaked out, thinking, "Oh, Jesus, there's a man out there, there's somebody out there." I'm trying to lock the door. I'm freaking out. I'm fumbling. It's like a freaking movie, you know?
Right.
And so I get the door locked. I'm like, "What is going on?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "And I felt like something was watching me, and something took off running in the woods, and it sounded heavy, and it sounded like it was on two legs."
Mm.
And he said, "I got scared." Now, mind you, Kenny's not scared of much.
Right.
And for him to be afraid, I kind of took it serious. Well, needless to say, there were curtains on those windows not too soon after. Um, so that's where it all started, was when we had the RV on the back of the property. And then we moved the RV up to the front. And that's when I started getting to know my neighbors a little bit better. And so there was another night, two neighbors that lived across the street. They're not there anymore. They live in this little barn dominium, and they have those, those string lights out in the
Yeah.
front. They had those out there. So that was really their only form of light. So the lady, she was there by herself. Her husband worked out of town a lot. He's a lineman, so he's always out. And he's also an ex-Army Ranger. That's important. So she came to me the next day and she said she was outside smoking a cigarette when she saw somebody walking down their driveway. And it's her aunt's house, which is right next door. She said somebody was walking down the driveway, and she said their body proportions didn't look right.
Wow.
And I asked her, "What do you mean they didn't look like? Like what?" She said, "Well, like their arms. The arms looked longer than normal size." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, that's something, right?"
Right.
And she said it passed by her aunt's SUV, and she could see its head just a little bit over the top of that SUV. So that tells me, okay, that's something tall, right? And she ran inside. Oh no, I'm sorry. Her husband was there. My bad. She ran inside and got her husband. Now, the rest of all of this, I had on security footage. My camera faces that way. While I can't see clearly, I can see that it's lit up. I can see her react. She runs to the railing. She runs inside, and you see all of this on the security cameras. Then you see her husband run out, and you can see a flashlight come in the woods, and then that's it. And she tells me it was him. He has an AK, and he was coming the woods with the flashlight on his AK, and he
Right.
was back there looking to see who the hell was back there.
Right. Because in his mind, it's a
A
person.
person, yeah. And so she's telling him, "I'm telling you what I saw. It was not a person." And he's like, "Oh, Bridget, you're drunk." You know,
Right.
you
Right.
didn't really see that, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, whatever. So the very next weekend, the very next Saturday, he's got to go to, I think he's got to go back to Puerto Rico because Kenny was actually taking him to the airport, and they had to leave pretty early. So he was like, "I'm not even going to sleep because I have to be up so early." Well, it was about 3:30 in the morning, and I get a phone call. "And you need to get out here now." okay, what's going on? I'm thinking he's done killed Bridget or
Wow.
something. I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm about to be calling the police here in a minute. And he's like, you need to get out here right now and saw that son of a bitch walking down my driveway. I'm thinking, so I mean, I'm still thinking maybe he's a person or something. So I go out there and I take my digital recorder with me. I have the whole recording still. I
Oh
take
wow.
it with me, and you hear me. I think I said it's 3:48 a.m. and he meets me at my gate, and he tells me I'm just sitting there and I'm drinking a beer, and I seen something walk down my driveway, and it looked weird. And I said, what did it look like? And he said, well, I couldn't see because it's so dark, but they have those little lights. He said it just didn't look right. Its proportions, its arms were long, its head was like pointy. And I'm thinking, wow, is he regurgitating what he
Yeah.
told his wife, or is this for real? And he's shaking. This is an ex-Army Ranger, and he's shaking. And I went to my security camera footage the next day, and sure enough, you see him. He's sitting there. He gets up, he runs over there, and he sits there for a minute. Not a whole minute, but you know what I mean. He sits there for a couple of seconds. He runs inside and he comes back out with his AK, and he's combing the woods again. So you see him do all that. If he wanted to make up a lie, he could have just told me he saw something.
Right.
He didn't know that I looked at the security cameras. He didn't know that yet
Yeah.
about me looking at Bridget. And so we're standing there talking. He said, well, I was drinking. And I said, listen, alcohol is not a hallucinogenic. We might tend to embellish things when we're drunk, but
Or get brave.
yeah, you get brave, but you don't see things when you're drunk. Alcohol is a depressant. And so we're sitting there talking, and then the barn, that big old white barn next to me,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden you hear bam, and it just reverberates. And he turned on his light, and I said, turn that off, turn that off. He's like, no. And I said, turn the light off. And so we run over there. Well, I wouldn't go outside the fence because my neighbors have moved in 2 years ago when this happened. I did not know them. I was not going onto their property for fear of being shot.
Right.
So I stood at my side gate, and we looked and we looked and we watched and we listened, and there was nothing. So I thought, well, maybe a limb fell on top of the roof because it's all tin. Maybe something. So the next day I walked down the street and I looked. There was no limb or anything on the top of the roof or anything next to it. So my neighbor had come out, and I said, hey, you might want to check your barn. Something pretty big hit it last night. And he said, oh, okay. So he walked around there and he came back. He said, there's nothing there. And I said, oh, okay. I was just wanting him to go over there.
Right. Right.
Hopefully he would tell me, oh yeah, there's a big limb on the ground. Maybe something I didn't see. But even though I didn't see what made that noise, my mind was just picturing this open hand slapping the side of this barn.
Wow. Yeah.
And yeah, so he was freaked out. I was a little bit freaked out. And so we went our separate ways. Of course, they used to always make me watch them cross the road at nighttime because they were so scared. Yeah, they were really scared. So yeah, I haven't, well, that's not, I was going to say I haven't had anything happen in a while, but as you very well know, that's a big lie. I
Yeah.
think you and I were sitting out burning all of that fencing,
Yeah.
And that was a wood knock. That was a definite wood knock, and it was powerful.
It was loud. I remember.
And it was right there. How many feet you think that was?
Man,
25?
it was right across the street, right? It sounded like it was on in that direction where that patch of woods was.
Either that patch of woods, or what I was thinking of was in that corner where my fence and my neighbor's fence meet. That would be on the ditch. That telephone pole right there by the ditch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
I mean, but that's not, I mean, that's literally right there to the patch of wood. So
Hmm.
either way, I think it made us jump. And
Yeah, it got our attention.
for sure. Um,
Hey, do you remember if the dogs reacted? I don't remember them
the dogs were
react.
inside.
Well, maybe the neighbors' dogs were they? I don't remember
No,
them.
they weren't outside. They were on the back porch. I talked to my neighbor today about that.
Oh, did you?
I sure did, because it's been bothering me. I said, I want to ask you a question and I want you to tell me the truth. And she said, okay. I said, and you're a cop, so don't lie to me because I know y'all know how to lie. And she said, I'll tell you the truth. I said, okay. I said, me and my buddy were out here not too long ago, a month or more. I don't know how long ago it was. I'm not good with time. And I said, we were sitting out here burning a bunch of fencing. We didn't have any music on. We were just talking. We weren't being super loud or anything. And directly, something hit this pole right here. And I said, do you know what a wood knock is? She said, yes. And I said, did you do that? She said, absolutely not. I said, do you promise me? She said, and I didn't do it. I said, Stacy, if you did that, you had a lot of power behind you.
Hmm.
And she said, I promise you, Ann, I didn't do that. That's the only thing about people knowing what we do, because then I get afraid that they're going to,
Yeah, start messing with us.
yeah, yeah. And so, there was one time, I think Shelly was here. Michelle and Russell were here. I don't know if you were, but it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. You probably weren't here. It was
Mm-mm.
like
I don't
five
think it was.
o'clock in the no, because Shelly was in the guest bedroom, and that would have made you have to sleep on the couch, and I've never known you to sleep on my couch. And so they were here. Well, I was tired. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was inside, but I was waiting for Michelle and Russell to leave so I could get the gate.
Hmm.
Russell was facing the street, and Michelle and Shelly were facing the back looking at Russell. And they were sitting there talking. And Russell said that he saw two people walking down the street, but one was taller than the other. And, they looked different, but he couldn't make out anything about them, no features or anything, couldn't see clothing or nothing, and that they disappeared into those woods. So, with that said, my neighbor next door saw something on security cameras, something, don't know, person, it, whatever. One was taller than the other. Russell said he saw something walking down the street. One was taller than the other. So I'm wondering if there's not two of them out here. Possibility.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a couple.
Yeah, it could be. Um, Golly, there's some. That's why I said in the beginning, it sounds so fantastical.
Well, I mean, you never know. But I mean, it makes sense.
Well, here's the latest. Now, this is a topic of debate around here. I posted on Facebook what happened the other night.
Right, right.
Um, but audience doesn't know, so I'll tell the story. So it was about 10 o'clock. Dogs were in. We always let our dogs in because they bark a lot. No one's going to get any sleep. I probably shouldn't say that because now robbers are going to be like, all right, dogs are inside.
Yeah, but as long as they don't come
uh,
in.
yeah, sometimes we bring them in. But all the dogs were in. All the curtains are closed. All the doors are locked. And I'm in my office. I don't have the room light on. I just have my little lamp on, which sits on top of my computer tower, and it's closest to the window. Okay. So I have the blinds closed, but I always close my blinds down so that if you want to see me, you have to be very tall to see me. Okay.
Mm.
Because I don't know anybody that could see me. And I'm sitting there. Now I have curtains there, but they're not the right width, so they don't cover the whole window. So I don't even bother trying to close them. Well, I'm sitting there and I hear knock, knock, knock very blatantly. It was not a light tap. It was not like there was a bug against the glass eating other bugs,
Yeah.
because I had my light on. It was a solid knock. And there was no doubt in my mind that that was a knock. And I didn't look to the side, I looked up because that's where it came from. The sound came up in the upper portion of the window. And I got a little bit freaked out.
Yeah, that can
And
be freaky. Did the
well,
dogs bark?
no, the dogs, no, no, no. They were inside. They didn't hear anything. As far as they
Okay.
knew, it was me, right?
Yeah.
So I went out of the office and went into the bedroom and I woke up Kenny. Poor Kenny. I wake
Yeah.
him up quite a bit with stuff that goes on around here. And so I said, get up, get up. And it was hard for me to wake him up. I got him up and then I ran to like the entryway to our bathroom. And I was just standing there in the door jamb. And I said, somebody just knocked on my freaking office window. He's like, what? I'm like, I'm not kidding. And I was shaking. I said, Kenny, someone's knocking on the window. And he's like, are you sure? I was like, yes, I'm positive. I'm not embellishing. I'm not exaggerating. This was full on bop, bop, bop. And I looked up and I got freaked out and I took off running. So we go out there. He turns off the porch light. Why, I don't know, but whatever. And I don't know what we're looking for
Right.
because it's dark. I don't have my FLIR charged because that next day, Thursday, I'm going to Michelle and Russell's, meet them in Jasper. We're going to go Bigfooting for the night. So I don't have anything charged up yet. I'm getting my equipment together, little by little.
Mhm.
So then we don't see anything, and I come back and I sit down. Not more than a minute. It had to be less than a minute. There was more knocking on that window.
Wow.
And it was not knock, knock, knock. It was like knock, 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 knock. And I yelled, I have a gun. I'll shoot your ass through this window. Even
Wow.
though I won't, because that window's like $800. You
Yeah,
know,
don't do that.
yeah. And so Kenny gets up and he runs outside. We let the dogs out, and the dogs don't react to anything. They're just kind of standing around, but they're sniffing over there. Well, before the second knock, I heard something moving around out there.
Hmm. What did it sound like?
Just
Just
like someone was moving around.
like walking and
Well, not walking, but like repositioning, or because it's a small area,
yeah.
and it just sounded like somebody was messing around out there. And but the and listen, when I made the post, I didn't want to say, I think it's Bigfoot because I
Right.
certainly didn't see who or what made those knocks. But I've had a lot of people say that sounds paranormal. only because of the 3 knocks. Now I've known that, and I even said when I heard the first 3, I even said, "No, you cannot come in."
Yeah.
But I checked my security cameras. Um, I don't have quite the advantage point that I need to have on 2 of my security cameras, but whatever, who, whoever or whatever still has to run off in either direction of those cameras. And I did not see anything at all.
Wow. So it was quick.
Something. I mean, one of my security cameras at night, you can barely see anything. The LEDs are going out. And so it's a little dark. I mean, you can see the lights across the street. So, like, if something passed in front of them, you would know. But I've since moved that camera. I moved it today to cover more of an area that would allow me to see if someone was walking up to my office window.
Yeah.
So, and the reason that I was so scared about it is, one, what if it is a person?
Yeah. That
Two,
that would be
yeah,
spooky.
exactly. And what if it was a Bigfoot? And the reason that scares me is because, we can go out in the woods all day long and I'm cool with that, but don't come in my yard.
Yeah, that's trespassing.
Damn, Bigfoot's are trespassing. I call
Come on,
cops on
man.
you.
Yeah, man. But I mean, can you imagine how many times Bigfoot's got the cops called on
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you hear those stories.
him? Yeah.
I've heard those stories on another popular podcast that I'm not going to mention, but because that podcast I was supposed to be on, it was the first time I was going to tell my story, and I was so nervous. And it just happened though that that weekend that he wanted me on, I was taking a cruise with a friend of mine, and so I couldn't. And
Oh
I
wow.
said, "How about when I get back?" He was like, "Yeah, man, give me a call." And so I called him, and he wouldn't answer. I emailed him, he wouldn't answer me, and I'm thinking, what happened? I still
Wow.
don't know what happened. So I was so relieved when he wanted me to tell my story because I was getting it off of my chest and I just needed to tell somebody.
Yeah, it's like therapy. You know how they say you feel
Hmm.
better when you talk about it because I mean, when I had mine, I was having nightmares.
Yes.
It was very stressful. I tried to tell people, regular people about it, and I learned really quick that you can't do that. It was
Right.
so bad that it was like I told everybody. And my younger sister, we would go out to eat, and next thing you know, the waitress is like, "What would you like to drink, sir?" I saw a Bigfoot.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was getting bad, and it was
PTSD.
my family was tripping out on me, and they were like, "Hey, bro, you need to cut that out because that's not cool what you're
You
doing."
just keep looking for anybody to tell your story to, and then you always end up telling the wrong people and they ridicule you or dismiss you or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I was new to the game, and I didn't know who to tell. I didn't know who to talk
Exactly.
to. And then, luckily I kept in touch with Brandon and his dad, and you know, they they talked about their experiences, and it just made me feel better that I wasn't the only
The
one.
only one.
Even though I was with people, I still felt by myself.
Right.
It was just like, man, it was very stressful, and like the nightmares, and they were just so real.
So looking back, well, not looking back. So you had your nightmares and whatnot, but today, how would you say your encounter has changed your life?
It it basically just everything that I thought. Yeah, I guess I should say I thought I had everything figured out, and when that happened, it let me know
Right.
I did not have the answers to everything. I didn't know, and it made me think, what else is out there? That's why I'm so open
Exactly.
minded about a lot of stuff. I mean, I have people tell me crazy stuff, but I don't never say, "No, you're dumb. There's no way that could happen."
Yeah.
Because I mean, my experience was very real to me. So for someone to tell me their experience, it was very real to them.
Exactly right.
And
And
I,
and that's the thing that Shelly always tells me. It's it's not really our job to believe someone or not. It's just that they just want to tell their story. And you just have to let them,
yeah,
no matter what we think. And that goes back to the what we call the woos.
yeah,
Why do we not believe them?
and it's crazy because you have Bigfoot people that don't believe ghost people, and then you
Right.
have ghost people that don't believe Bigfoot, and then you got alien people. I was talking to a guy, and he saw my I was in the Yeti, and those things ain't real. But
Mm.
UFOs and aliens are.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay.
oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
should I call it the ET and change my you know my truck stickers all up with alien stuff on it?
Exactly. And that's
You
the thing, there's so many people out there. Are we all wrong? Are we
right.
all misidentifying? Are we all crazy?
I mean, there's
Oh,
some
yeah,
that are,
that's true.
but you gotta judge whether you believe them or not. But
You do.
at the same time, you be respectful. You can't just flat out just hammer on somebody for
Yeah,
telling you what they saw.
absolutely.
There's
And
so many times where I've talked about what happened or explained to somebody what happened or whatever, and they sit there and make fun of me or say some smart stuff, and then a couple minutes later when everybody's gone, hey man, something crazy happened to me one time.
yep, they got to get comfortable with you.
Yeah.
I can tell you that since the very first encounter, like all the little things that have happened, they just all add up to one big story. And but the thing is this is now when I go out at night at my house, the first thing I do before I step, I'll open up the screen door on the back just a little bit and I'll look around before I step out because I don't want to be surprised.
And that's completely understandable. How many encounters have been like that where people just
A
jump,
ton.
run out or come around a corner?
Yeah. And
I
there it
mean, I've heard
is.
those. I've had people tell me, "Oh man, I was running. Came around the corner and I almost bumped straight into a Bigfoot, or there was one
Yeah.
standing, not too far from where I was at."
Yeah. There was another time, God, it just seems like it never ends. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had this little dog, his little Pomeranian. His name was Shorty, and he had to go outside and pee. Well, little dogs, my little dog now, if he has to go out at night, I watch them because I don't know what's out there, and I don't need anything getting my little dog, right?
Right.
Well, I let him out, and then I lost him. I was like, oh my God, where did he go? And I ran inside and got the flashlight, and I could not find this dog. I was freaking out because I'm thinking, oh my God, something got my dog. And we had the house built at that time, but we also had this little building right next to the house. And I was in between the house and that little building. And then all of a sudden, I heard whack on one of the trees in my yard, in my fenced in area. And it freaked me out. And I remember running to the front door on my tiptoes. I don't know why.
You was being
But
sneaky.
I tell I was. I was running on my tiptoes and I was going, no, 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 no. And that's all I could say. And I ran in there and I started crying. And I was like, Kenny, get up, get up. And I said, Shorty's out there. I don't know where he is. I just heard a wood knock. I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And he goes out there, and I'm freaking out that he's going out there. I mean, I'm just like, you got to get the dog, but then again, I want you to stay inside. And so he goes out there, and we cannot find that dog. And I told him, okay, I guess the Bigfoot got him. I don't know what to say. I'm freaking out. He's freaking out. We're getting frantic now because we can't find Shorty. And then all of a sudden we hear, woof. And he's standing on the back porch.
Wow.
Looking at us like, what are you idiots doing?
What are y'all doing? Why is he up?
Yeah, so
you people are weird.
Yeah, it's just little things like that make me go, what is it?
Right.
What is it? You know, when I first got Annie and Annabelle, they were about 8 months old. And I remember it was a cool night. Now, it's not often that I sleep with my windows open. I don't do it anymore because I know what's out here now. But we had the windows open, and Annie got up and she went on my side to my window, and she had that deep, low growl. Yes. So I get up, and I'm not thinking nothing, right? And I get down on my knees next to her, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, what are we growling at? You know, I'm trying to be all nice. She's like, "Rrr." I'm like, well, she sees something or she senses something. I don't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said a little bit louder, I said, what are we growling at, Annie? And then something runs. Okay, it had been raining. This is how I know something runs. It had rained, and that side yard over there floods pretty good.
I've seen it.
Yes. And there was probably 2 inches of water over there, 2 or 3. And something was sloshing through that water and took off. Now, mind you, I have a fence. It's 5 foot. It's either 4 or 5 foot. I have to go measure it because I don't remember. It might be 4 foot. But even as a person, I can't jump a 4-foot fence. Well, I'm overweight, but if I wasn't, maybe a deer could.
Yeah.
But whatever it was slosh.
That is creepy.
And I went out there after it had dried up thinking maybe I can see some prints to see what it was. But it was full of water for a few days. There's no prints. So, I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know what to tell you, big dog. I just don't.
Crazy.
What shall I say?
That's a lot of stuff going on
A lot of stuff goes on out here. I just wonder how much more stuff goes on that I don't know about.
Right.
Maybe with other people on the block, maybe with me, and I don't hear it because maybe my AC is running or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, there was something in the woods. This was, I don't know, a month ago maybe. My neighbor behind me showed a video of 2 of his German Shepherd pups. Now, when I say pups, these are not little dogs. These are not little puppies. They're just young, and they're big. And he showed me a video of them over by their little fence that they have up. And those 2 dogs took off running and broke the glass of their back door trying to get in that house. So
Wow.
What was that?
Scary.
Yeah. Maybe it was a predator. I don't know. I need to get that video, though, and see if I can lighten it up and see what was out there.
That would be cool to see.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I talked to Shelly and Steven about it, and they've come to the conclusion that it could have been either a big cat or I think she said a bobcat.
Maybe.
Because puppies are curious. Dogs are curious.
Yeah.
They want to know what everything is. What is this snake and what does it do? What is this bug and what does it do? Oh, what's
Is,
that over there?
is it
Squirrel.
dangerous? Is it dangerous? Yeah,
Yeah.
squirrel.
They're curious by nature. So, what was it that made them run and crash into the back door of their house, breaking the glass?
Yeah,
That'd be a cool video to put up, I think.
it would be.
And that video that I had of the couple across the street, I'm not going to mention who, but I had sent it to someone to lighten it up for me.
Yeah.
And I put it in Dropbox. And it came off of my flash drive. I only have one flash drive. And I uploaded it into Dropbox, shared it, and somehow, mysteriously, it got deleted.
I hear a lot about that. A lot.
Really?
Yes, where people had some sort of evidence or some sort of recording or something, and then it's gone.
Of Bigfoot.
Bigfoot or whatever, UFOs. Because I listen to podcasts pretty much all day. That kind of helps me from going nuts.
Right.
So I listen to things that are nuts. And yeah, and it doesn't matter what podcast. I mean, you always hear that somewhere, where hey, I'll film these lights, and I couldn't find it anywhere on my phone, or I
Hmm.
showed a couple people, and when I went back to look for it, it was gone, and
That's
yeah,
interesting.
it is.
Because he doesn't have the ability to delete it on his end because it's my file. He doesn't have edit access. He only has view access.
Right.
And it's gone. And my flash drive is corrupt now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't retrieve it off my security cams, off the DVD, off of that because, or DVR, excuse me, because I didn't know at the time that I could allow up to I think 5 days of recorded days. I only had it on 2, and by
Yeah.
the time I realized, crap, my flash drive is corrupt, that footage was already gone. And so there's nothing. I have 2 security cams on across the street that face across the street. You can see these people at the barn dominium, and the other one you can see right down that driveway. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could see something, even if it's a person, just anything going down that driveway? Wouldn't that be great? And it
Yeah.
just disappeared, just got deleted somehow.
I don't know. I think when you start getting close, stuff happens. That's
Well,
why my goal is not even trying to prove anything or do anything.
right. Mine either. It's it's more for me, but I think that it would be cool for other people to see something because you know how we are. We don't believe anything that anybody else says. Isn't that right?
Yes.
I mean, when it comes to evidence, and I'm using air quotes right now, we tend to not believe people, the Bigfoot community. You see a picture and it's blurry and it's like, okay, there's nothing there. It's just a blur blob.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do?
Uh,
And
nothing
you
to
know
do.
what? You know what, big dog? I don't expect anyone to believe me either. Okay, there's
Yeah.
something moving outside my window right now.
Give him the
Oh my
mic,
god.
sir. Can you
Oh
come
my
here?
god.
I need to record. I need you to come on our show.
Okay, something's scratching my window.
Give him the mic.
No, I'm not kidding, and my dogs are barking. Kenny,
Wake up,
not
Kenny.
funny.
Live on the shows, ladies and gentlemen.
What? This is not even funny. Oh my god, I have chill bumps right now up and down my arms.
It's funny for me because I'm all the way on the other side of the world.
Oh my god, it sounded like a scratch on the screen,
Do you
and my dog's barking.
you got your cameras on?
Yeah, but I've been sitting here watching one camera the whole time that I'm talking to you. Whoa. I wonder if it picked up. I doubt it picked it up, the sound, because.
Nah, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, and now my sensor lights are going off right now.
Uh-oh. Take a fluffy pillow and run out there after it.
Somebody has to be playing. I don't know. My dogs will eat your ass if you come in my yard
Whoa,
and they
whoa.
know you.
I think you need to use a different term there.
What? Oh my God. I'm like frozen right now.
Let it go. Let it go.
You know, big dog, that every night before it gets dark, I close the front of the house, the curtains and everything before it gets dark. Right before it gets dark, I close the curtains in the back. And the reason I do that is a Bigfoot reason. I'm sitting here right now with my office blinds wide open. And I'm too scared to reach up and close them.
Oh, this would be the perfect time to ask this question.
Oh God, what?
Out of all the Bigfoot movies that you ever watched, what was the one part that freaked you out?
Big legend.
What part?
In the beginning, when they're in the tent and they hear something, and he goes outside of the tent and she's in there, and that damn Bigfoot reaches down and grabs that tent and drags her off.
That is pretty scary.
Oh, yes, it is. There's others like Legend of Boggy Creek scary.
Yeah, that's
Everything in that movie scares me.
the part that messed me up is when the Bigfoot reaches through the window when that guy's in the
Yes.
bathroom. Because
Yes.
I lived in a house, like an older house when I was growing
Mhm.
up, and it had a little window right next to the
Mhm. Me
yeah.
too.
And yeah, that's kind of like the courtesy fan or whatever. You open the window whenever you're making a skunk ape, and well, I'm trying to keep it G-rated,
Are
and
we gonna keep this in the show?
yes, I think people would love it, and yeah, that
Oh
was
my
I would
God.
always think about that, even if it was closed and it was dark and there was like nothing in the backyard, so we didn't really have a curtain. So that was a bad thing. Yeah, you could spy on people, but you didn't really want to
Oh
see anybody.
gosh. Okay, well, on that note, I'm trying to bring up something. Um, it seems like I can't have too many things running at one time. Because, I
Yeah,
live in the boonies and it's hard to have internet on while you're streaming Seinfeld on the TV and you're on the internet and blah, blah, blah. But here's the deal. Here's the exciting part. August 1st, and this is a shameless plug for Craig Woolheater's Falcon Monster Festival. It's happening August 1st. I'll tell you who the speakers are, but this is the point I'm trying to make. So Lyle Blackburn's going to be there. Ken Gerhard, David Weatherly, Jerry Hestan. I love Jerry Hestan. He's got some stories. And then Smokey Crabtree's son,
is he from
Jay.
out here?
Jerry lives up North Texas somewhere.
Oh, okay, okay.
But he's got some good stories about where we go at Camp Concussion and all of that. And then there are going to be some Legend of Boggy Creek cast members there. Glenn Caruth, I'm not really sure how to say his name. You know who he is?
Glenn, is he the no, I
Come
don't know.
on. He played Bobby Ford. Come on.
I almost said that too. I almost said that. I
He's the
almost
guy that was sitting on the toilet.
Dang it. I almost said it. I was gonna say, was it the doo doo man?
Yes, it's the doo-doo man.
Hey, no, never mind.
What?
Yeah,
You can't do that.
I know.
I mean, I hope he's still going to be there. I know that he's elderly now. And as long as he wears a mask and we wear a mask, then he should be fine.
So
But
you're gonna still have it? Because I was thinking it was gonna get canceled or
it
whatever.
got canceled in Falk, okay?
Oh, okay.
But the host hotel, which is the Holiday Inn Convention Center in Texarkana, Arkansas, they are taking on the festival. So it will be held at the hotel. Now, from what I understand, you can call the hotel and get a special rate of it's like $80 or $85 a night. And that includes breakfast for two. So you just have to tell them it's for dear Lord, the Falk Monster Festival block.
Mm.
So that's happening Saturday, August 1st. I'll be there. Kenny will be there. Jason's going to be there. All the cool kids will be there.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, if you let's see, if you want to get tickets, just go to Facebook, go to Falk Monster Festival, and click on the green ticket button that will take you to Eventbrite, and call the Holiday Inn Convention Center in Texarkana, Arkansas at 870-216-2000, or you can book online. You pay more when you book online, though, because I've already done that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's exciting that Bobby Ford character, he's going to be there. And I imagine some of the other people are going to be there. It doesn't say that they will, but I hope they will. We'll see. But yeah, so I hope to see everybody there.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the show. Good night, sleep tight, and don't let the Bigfoots bite.